Ram and Lakshman were still lingering on the shores of Pampa, planning to approach Sugriva as advised by Kabandha when the Vasanta Ritu set in. In the flower-laden environment, Rama's grief for Sita's absence and for her unknown predicament made him restless. He wanted to reach out to her, look at her, and love her. In poetic words, he expressed his anguish to Lakshmana. Of what use is my life if I cannot be united with the soft-spoken Sita, who has fine eyelashes and lovely hair? My beloved is so fond of Vasanta, the season in which the splendor of the forest is enhanced and the koel sings in melody everywhere. Aided by the fuel provided by Vasanta, the fires of my grief, born of Kama, burn fiercer each passing moment. They surely will consume me in no time. Lakshmana tried to assuage Rama's agony in well-chosen and logical words, addressed him thus: "Do not grieve, my brother. Your emotions need to be controlled for us to search for Sita. Great spiritual souls like you are resolute, persevering, and do not give up hope and effort. Each one of us has to suffer the grief of separation from one's near and dear ones. Give up your grief and stop acting like a lover separated from the beloved. Nothing in the world is beyond the reach of a motivated person," said Lakshmana. "We can free Janki only with determined effort. You are a Mahatma with a clear conscience. At present you have forgotten your reality." Valmiki writes, listening to Lakshmana's words, Rama overcame his delusion and attachment. He regained balance and collected his thoughts about Sita, Bharat, and his kin. Leaving Pampa behind, the brothers moved forward in search of Sita. Sugriva, the king of Vanaras, noticed the arrival of the two princes from a distance. His first perception of them was that they were warriors sent by his brother and enemy Vali to kill him. He and his warriors took shelter in the Matang ashram to come up with a strategy to fight the enemy. Sugriva was unsure of their intentions. Restlessly, he looked in all directions to see if there was an army accompanying them too. He was scared and sad. He consulted his ministers, expressed his fear, and talked of his lack of strength to engage the outsiders in a fight. He said, "The two warriors have certainly been sent by Vali. For disguise, they are dressed in bark as hermits. They have reached here walking through a forest difficult to access." Jumping over hilltops, crushing the trees on their path, Sugriva's ministers soon gathered around him to offer protection. They stood with folded hands at the top of the Rishyamooka mountain. I have included some paintings from the Valmiki Ramayana collection showing these scenes where Sugriva is consulting his ministers. Addressing the frightened king, Hanuman, skilled in expression and conversation, said, "Please give up Vali's fear and while you are on this mountain. He cannot reach here. O Vanaraj, you are unable to think straight because you are disturbed and restless. Endowed with wisdom and logical reasoning, try to understand the motives of these visitors from their movements and act accordingly. A king who does not use the power of knowledge, intelligence, and understanding cannot rule over others." Sugriva replied, "Who would not be afraid of these men armed with bows, arrows, and swords. I suspect that they are Vali's friends. We cannot trust them without being sure, because Vali is clever in deceit. Hanuman, go and engage them in a dialogue. Try to discover their identity and motives from their conduct, and ask them what brings them here, into this dense forest. Ascertain that there is no hidden motive in their visit. What follows shows Hanuman's diplomacy. Actually, Hanuman enters the story at this stage, and in the very first incident, we are shown how brilliant Hanuman was in all that he did in the affairs of the state, as if he had gone to an academy for foreign service officers. Jumping over rocks, Hanuman arrived at the place where Rama and Lakshmana were resting. He assumed a hermit's form and clothing in order to establish credibility. Facing the two warriors, Hanuman humbly bowed in their presence and spoke sweet and polite words. O brave man, you appear to be truthful, powerful, like the Rajarshis and the Devatas, hermits and men of a firm resolution. Masters, what brings you to this forest? Your presence has added to the beauty of the fine trees growing on the Pampa banks. Your limbs glow like gold and you look like lions. You carry bows and arrows in this dense forest. What brings you, sir, to this inaccessible place? In you, the sun and the moon appear to have descended on earth. Have you come from Swargaloka? Your bows are gold-plated. The quivers full of arrows, deadly as snakes, look grand. And your swords are strong, broad, and sharp, with handles made of gold. I represent Sugriva, a pious and brave Vanara who has been thrown out of his home by his brother Vali. Everyone knows me as Hanuman. I am the son of Pavana, the god of wind. Although I am a Vanara, I can change form at will and cook anywhere. Please see the painting which I have taken here from Pahadi Hills, showing Hanuman meeting Rama and Lakshmana. Right now I am here in disguise for the benefit of Sugriva. The pious Sugriva wants to befriend you. I am his minister and representative. Addressing Lakshmana, Ram said, Sumitra Nandan, this wise man comes to us as a representative of Sugriva for his master's benefit. He is perspicacious. Please respond politely and with warmth. None can talk so wisely unless he has studied the Vedas. He is a master of grammar because during his long conversation he has not uttered a single misplaced word. In a remarkably brief introduction, he made his mission clear. He talked in pleasant words and was never at a loss for words. It shows his cultured upbringing. Mark Valmiki's discussion of language, of the spoken word, mastery of grammar, what not? A remarkable storyteller, a master of his craft was Valmiki. Following Rama's advice, Lakshmana spoke to Hanuman, O learned man, we are well aware of the qualities of the wise Sugriva. We have arrived here looking for him. We accept his hand of friendship extended by you on his behalf. Next, Lakshman narrated their tale of woe, of their exile and the abduction of Sita. He told Hanuman how Kabandha had asked them to approach Sugriva for help in their mission. Further, he said Rama, who could offer protection to the entire world, has today come to Sugriva as his savior. He needs Sugriva's help in tracing Sita. Hanuman listened to Lakshmana and choosing his words wisely said, Princes, Sugriva the king of Vanaras is in need of the friendship of wise men like you who have conquered anger, desire and lust. Fortunately, you have arrived on your own. He has been deprived of his kingdom and wife by Vali, his elder brother. He lives in fear away from his home, from where he has been ousted. Surya Nandan Sugriva will certainly help you to trace the whereabouts of Sita. Let us go to him. Seeing this, Hanuman changed his form into that of a Vanara and carried the two brothers on his shoulders to the top of the Rishyamooka mountain. Making them comfortable at the Rishyamooka mountain, Hanuman summoned his king from the nearby Malaya peak after narrating to him the trials and tribulations Rama had suffered because of Sita's abduction. The Vanara king warmly approached Ram and Lakshman and extended his hand of friendship. Striking two sticks of wood, Hanuman ignited a fire. With Agni as a witness, Ram and Sugriva affirmed their friendship by a parikrama of the holy fire. An agreement is being signed. You need witnesses. A delighted Sugriva said, Now that we are friends, let us pledge to share our sorrows as well as joys. Sugriva plucked a leafy, flowering branch of the shala tree and offered Rama a seat on the branch of a tree. Lakshman was offered the flowering branch of a sandalwood tree to make himself comfortable by Hanuman. Sugriva narrated the story of the loss of his kingdom and of his wife at the hands of his elder brother Vali. In turn, Ram assured him of his strength to kill Vali and retrieve his kingdom and wife. Pointing to his bows and arrows, Rama said, Glorious like the sun, the arrows in my quiver never miss their target. Their heads are pointed and sharp and they fly like angry animals, striking with the force of Indra's thunderbolt. Hit by them, Vali will crash to the ground like a shattered rock. In turn, assuring Rama of his help, Sugriva said, A Rakshasa has made you suffer the virha of your wife. You will soon be free of this sorrow. I shall bring back your wife who is as pure as the Vedas. A few days ago, I noticed a Rakshasa carrying a woman in his lap. She was crying, Ha Ram, Ha Ram, Ha Lakshmana. I guess she must be Sita, whom Ravan was carrying against her will. In his lap, she looked restless. When she saw us at the mountain top, she took off some of her ornaments and threw them to the ground, tied in a piece of cloth. Here they are for you to identify. Looking at Sita's ornaments, Rama's eyes grew moist. With a ray of hope in his eyes, he spoke to Lakshmana. Look at these ornaments that Sita threw them. There is no damage to them. They must have fallen on a patch of grass. Lakshmana replied, Dear brother, I cannot identify these bracelets or the bangles, however. I recognize the anklets because I used to bow down at her feet daily. How touching. This is a good omen and assures me that our search for Sita will bear good results. More in the next video. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram.